Hey traders, there is wow, what a great move here on Taiwan Semiconductor, and that is our big earnings market mover for the week. So heads up on that. So basically, I've got a trend on here. This is the long-term trend from October 2023 here on Taiwan Semiconductor, and we've crossed on the bullish side of trend. So now, how does price interact on the bullish side of trend? So basically, excuse me. Once we break out above resistance, so if you look at this area right here, this fib has acted as resistance for quite a while there. It takes a while to break up from that. Once we break uh, out above this resistance right here, what could we say? We had resistance right here at the 50%, which we found resistance to 50% right here. And then once we cleared the 50%, then the top of the channel. Top of the channel, and that's where we reverted back down again. Okay. So what are we doing right here? So we had resistance, 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 resistance. Okay. Uh, right here was the last time that we had any type of resistance. That was also the same area of our massive call wall. So that could play out to be our resistance. And as you can see, this trend line right here got rejected. This is our 38.6 Fibonacci on this channel. That's what we are tagging early on this morning. So this is our initial resistance for this morning, suggesting that we can come back and fill right here for a bull flag possibility or even worse. Okay. So be very mindful of that. So we are in a massive positive gamma situation. Uh, the shorts could come in to try to cover early on this morning, given the data that came out. You never know. But technically, we should likely find resistance right where we're currently at in today's session. Okay, so let's see if that plays out. Give it a day or two, and then we might break out to new higher highs. So that's kind of my primary thesis here, that we might be setting up here in this market. Okay, and so let's definitely keep this on watch this morning. Ultimately, though, we're bull flagging. Given the data, given the trends and stuff, we are probably heading up into the 225 area here on Taiwan Semiconductor ultimately. So be very mindful of that. Anything can happen, but you never know. Now, I do want to talk about a Megatech. This here was the August lows. So I've been really focusing on these August low trend. We're currently trading above that. And there's only really two main stocks now on the tech side that are breaking out of these August low areas, and that's NVIDIA and Taiwan Semiconductor. So, be very mindful of that. There's some stuff breaking out from that August low trend, but there isn't a lot of stuff. So be very mindful of that, with the exception of banks. But as far as it in the tech sector range, those are the two leaders that are breaking out of those trends, which, you never know, that could all come undone in a heartbeat. But uh, they might be leading the way for everything else to follow in that breakout scenario. So I stand corrected here. NVIDIA actually has not broken out of that trend. So be very mindful of that. See where NVIDIA is? You know, this is our trends from August, and we do not have a clear breakout of that trend yet. So be very mindful of that. We have not broken out of that trend. We're in the double top situation on NVIDIA. Could very easily be resistance for today's session. So be very mindful of this. So really, Taiwan Semiconductor is the only tech that's breaking out, but that might be leading all the other tech to follow. So be mindful of that. So even with the news on NVIDIA and Taiwan Semi and NVIDIA being up this morning, we're still not back into that fair value gap on NQs this morning. Does that mean we're going to go up to there? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we do have some room here that we could actually go up. So let's definitely keep this on watch today, and we'll go from there. Okay. Uh, Another one. We're right into that bull bear cross here on S&Ps. You see how I drove my trend from this break right here. So, we're potentially in the bull bear cross here on the S&Ps early on this morning, right near the all-time highs. It looks like we're going to might be pushing into new all-time highs, back testing that bull bear cross. Now, this is the bull bear cross of the trend. Once you start getting above that, then it really gets exciting. So be very mindful of that. So yeah, I could definitely see a little push higher this morning here in the ESs, back into that trend line that would be giving us new all-time highs. So definitely keep that on watch. Russell, we are breaking out of that November trend area, so be very mindful of that. What you can do now is actually put a channel on this, just like I did Taiwan Semiconductor, and see how prices are reacting in relation to that. So there you go, guys. So you see what's happening here. The last time we came up, we found resistance right at this fib. That's where we're currently at. We're right at that fib level. We found some resistance. They got a fair value gap lower right at that trend resistance, and we're also into another fair value gap. So I'd be very careful today suggesting that they might want to trim some profits here early on here in the Russell. So be mindful of that scenario in today's session. So we'll see how it plays out here. I always look back at that prior, where acted as prior resistance. Typically, that means they've got to consolidate before another move. And we may have already done that consolidation. You see how we have spent a few hours or a few candles in this trading zone right here at this area. It might be ready to take off. So I don't know. So it looks like we've had really some nice little consolidation up that level, maybe ready to break out to higher highs. We'll see what happens here. But I would wait. They have to put in new higher highs to possibly take a long position. And our counts on the 4 hour suggest we might be long in a tooth on this move up, because we're already into the 9 count. So be mindful of that as well. So I definitely want to float that idea as well. But you see how we rejected right here. Had a really mean rejection, but it looks like this is building for a bigger move. And in that case, we should be coming up all the way up to the 23.45 in that case. So be very mindful. Ultimately, that's our main target, 23.45 here on the Russell. Yeah, it looks like we might be breaking out to new highs as we speak, as I'm making this video. I had mentioned yesterday I was really concerned about KWEB, how we came down, we overshot our target area, and that did turn into a bear flag, and we are reverting lower here. So be very mindful there of this. We might be coming all the way back down to this trend line for the back test, 28.82 here on China Internet. Personally, I do not think China Internet is a long. So heads up on that. I do not think it's a long. I think it's a short. So be very mindful, what's going on here. I'm not saying I'm taking the short. I'm just saying this is a very dangerous area to be trying to buy the dip, because this is a falling knife. ZNs, actually, we got a bounce off of where we thought that the bonds would catch a bid, and we are failing this morning. So this is actually a more bearish read on the markets. So just be mindful of that. So bonds going down whenever the ECB is actually doing a rate cut. This is completely converse of what you would think. So ECB is given a rate cut, suggesting the economy in Europe's a lot worse than what you think. Back-to-back rate cuts, it's not good. And here we are, we've got yields going higher this morning in face of the ECB rate cut. Something there just doesn't mesh right in my mind, suggesting that institutions might be getting a little bit nervous here with the data coming out of Europe. So be very mindful of this. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still above support. This can be bought back up, but this is really giving me a warning that there's going to be some profit taking in today's session, given what's happening post ECB this morning. So technically, in my opinion, AMD is bouncing this morning, but this is still a technical bear flag. So be very mindful of that. I think there's a put wall right here at 160. Let me double check it here. Yes, there's a big put wall here at 160. So they're a little bit nervous that the rally in Taiwan Semiconductor and NVIDIA, that trying to hold shorts below 160 is really difficult. So they are worried about that, these traders. So just be very mindful there. We could actually be running up to the 160. Well, ultimately the call wall is 170. So, but technically we're back testing the 160. Because we have broken it coming back, similar to what happened with KWeb. But be very mindful of this. I personally would not want to short here. So, just my personal gut feeling, thinking that they might, if the markets do not come down, they can very easily support AMD today. So, and destroy all those puts in AMD. So, not really, but yeah, technically, in my opinion, it is a bear flag. So, we'll see how it plays out. Just not something that I want to short. Apple's trading above the fair value gap this morning, so be very mindful of that. This area has acted as resistance, so be very mindful. Technically below 234.60, prices below 234.60 are shorts, so be very mindful of that, in my opinion. So, as long as we stay below 234.60, you can strategic short knowing your stop is above 234.60. So heads up on that. Amazon, below the fair value gap this morning. We do have retail sales coming out at 8:30, or they may have already came out. I haven't looked yet. So it's not rallying yet here. Let me check it out real quick, guys. So we have good data on U.S. data this morning. So retail sales are up, much higher than expected, and Philly Fed Business Index is way up. So business sentiment is way up here this morning. To me, stuff like Amazon here, you're still below the fair value gap and you're real close to it. The risk reward is not in your favor to actually be doing a directional long, but the news suggests you should be net directionally long this morning, but the odds do not favor that setup here. So, and also you can actually draw, I see these wicks right here, so you're right at another so you're right trapped between two fair value gaps depending on your time frames. So be very mindful of that. What's going on here? FCX, no. Broadcom had a really good day yesterday. Heads up on that. And let me draw it out. Give me a second here. I don't have that one drawn out. So basically, what's going on, Broadcom? We are trying to push out a bull flag. Okay, we are trying to push out above our August areas, which I'm telling you, this August areas are really acting as resistance here across the board. So we have Taiwan Semiconductor, possibly Broadcom this morning, but your big tech, none of them, even NVIDIA, none of them are really breaking out of those areas. So be mindful of that. Well, maybe NVIDIA, but Broadcom possibly we're going up into the 192 areas. So that's our main resistance on the bigger time frame is the 192 area here. Potentially here on Broadcom, that'd be new all-time highs. Heads up on it, and we are potentially at opening above the 180 this morning, which is a massive call wall, so a positive gamma situation early on this morning. I'm going to keep this video short here, and that's pretty much what I'm seeing really close here. Please like my video if you like it. Retweet me on Twitter if you get a chance. And leave some comments below. I like seeing some comments, feedbacks, and stuff. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.